my earliest impression of my own story is a sense of rescue. I came from these terrible conditions where my mom, she'd leave me with this couple she knew. And she'd say, "Oh, can you watch Nick for the weekend?" And a week later, maybe 2 weeks later, she'd come back and say, "Oh, I'm ready to take Nick back." She'd leave me with them. She'd land herself in jail for a night, for a week. Then she'd come back, say she'd gotten cleaned up. She's ready to take me back. So finally, this couple that she left me with, they said, we're going to sue for custody for this child. And she said, "Oh, you don't need to sue for custody. You can have him." So that's how they became my parents. I began living with them. They took over guardianship. And one of my earliest memories is the three of us going down to the courthouse together. And they explained that I was going to talk to the judge, and the judge would ask if I was happy with them, if I felt safe with them, if I wanted to be a family together. And I said, "Oh, so we're all going to be married together." And so that was when I was formally adopted. They were beautiful people, virtuous, hardworking, selfless people, my parents. Not formally religious in the traditional sense. And it wasn't until much later in my life that I came to the church. But I realize that without intending to, without knowing exactly what they were doing, they had been preparing me to meet God by showing me what it means to be adopted, to be brought into a family. They were readying me to be brought into the family of God and to see that and to accept that. So off to college I went, and I graduated, got married, began working in the church. And shortly thereafter, my mother was diagnosed with cancer. And it's a hard thing. It's a terrible thing. It's also an unspeakable privilege to be able to come back. So Lydia and I moved back to my hometown and got to walk with my mother through that last 2 years of her life. And more than that, got to explain to her what she had shown me without meaning to, about what it means to be loved and accepted, to be brought into a family, and to watch that understanding awaken in her. And so, in the end, I got to speak, had the terrible privilege of speaking at her graveside service and to tell her wider family how she had shown me what family can mean. And I think about it, and none of that is miraculous. These things happen every day. Every day, children struggle, children are abandoned, people go to jail, people get cancer. These things happen to people every day. But when I look at the whole shape of my life, I don't know what to call it, but a miracle of providence that it was so admirably arranged.